Hi, I'm Sue Mills. I'm an indie author writing character-driven love stories set in New England. I'm so glad you've joined Donna and me as we discuss all things bookish.
Hey y'all, I'm Donna Madden. I am the author of sweet yet spicy small town romance. It's great to have you. Come on in and take a seat.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Indie Authors Uncovered. Tonight we're going to talk about finding the time to write when writing isn't your only career. I'm Donna Madden.
And I'm Sue Mills.
And welcome to hang out with us for a little bit. And let's just go ahead and get started. Sue, do you make time every day to write? Or do you have a set schedule?
I do not have a set schedule. And I get up every day thinking I am going to write. And there are some days that it gets away from me and I don't write at all. And then I'm mad at myself because I feel like I would be much more productive. Well, obviously I would be if I wrote every day. But I don't. What about you?
Probably the same thing. But here's a question. Are you a full-time author, or do you have another job that you have to find the time to write around?
I work 3 nights a week from 3 in the afternoon to 11 at night at a hotel. It's a resort, a ski resort. In the summer, there's mountain biking. And so summers are very busy. Winters are very busy. We have a significant shoulder season at both ends. So when it's not busy, I take my laptop and I can write at work. But I don't like to do that until, like, say, 7:30 or so, when most of the check-ins are done. Because even on a slow night, I'll probably have, 5 to 10 check-ins. So I don't want them to see me with my laptop. But I'm the only hotel employee there, so.
Oh wow!
I can. Well, I have somebody that does some cleaning, and if rooms need something. But basically, I'm the only one there. So yeah, I work those 3 nights. What about you?
Okay, so you work 3 nights. I'm a teacher, so I leave my house at 7 a.m. every day, and I get home depending on the day and what's going on, between 4 and 5 every night. And then I'm exhausted. I'm just tired. So I try. My goal, what I've started doing, because finding time every day is just not possible, but when I'm actually going through the writing process, my goal is 5,000 words a week. That way, instead of having time or whatever, I can do 5,000 words a week. But like right now, I'm not doing that because I'm proofing. I'm doing the final proofread to my next book, and my goal is to get it formatted and ready to go to print by November 8th. So instead of writing right now, I'm spending my time, with all the finishing touches, and I do my own formatting and all that. So that's what I'm doing.
Right. I find it hard when I get to the point. So, for example, I am finishing up a manuscript right now, and it's going to go to editing on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. So once that comes, then I'm going to start my next book. I'll have 2 weeks where that's all I'm doing is writing in that book. And then I will get the edits back. And like you, I have a mental deadline. I want to get this book published by the end of November. So I've got to get the edits done. I've got to have it proofread, make those changes, and format it and get it off to Amazon. So writing is going to fall by the wayside, right, which I don't want to happen, but I know it's going to, because I've been through it before, where I've been writing and I've been, something else needs attention.
Right. Absolutely. So I think we both And, I heard that even if you're not writing, editing, proofing, formatting, getting, whatever it takes to get your book out, you need to start seeing as writing, going through the writing process.
Yeah.
Because we're indie authors. We do it all. We can't just write and pass it on to our formatter and our everybody,
And all of those things are important. They have to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you can't discount them.
So with all of that, how do you decide what to say no to so you can say yes to your writing?
I feel like I will tell you, over this past year, I feel like I've said no to everything.
Mm-hmm.
And since August, I've kind of been asking myself, are you living the life you want to live? I love writing. I really, really love it. But I feel like I don't want to do other things because I should be writing. Even if I'm not writing, I should be writing.
Right.
So, I can't go to the lake today because I should be writing. Even though I might not sit down and write, I might fritter that time away, and I could have
gone to the lake.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I am not good at time management at all. So, I'm trying to get better at it.
And I am right there with you because, with working full time, and then I come home and I might, one of us has to make dinner and then clean up from dinner. And then I want to have family time and hang with my husband and do all, just do all that. Like right now, right before we came on this podcast, it was after dinner and we started this Netflix series. And I'm like, I want to do that. One show, it's 45 minutes, because we need downtime. I go right from work to home to eat and then hop in on my computer. I have a family, so there's got to be time for that somewhere,
Yeah. My adult daughter is living with us because she's going to school right now. And I think it was probably in July. She said, "You don't do anything with us. You just don't do anything with us." And I'm like, "You're right. I haven't." So I ever since she said that, I've tried to be a little more cognizant of that. That was actually one of my questions was, do you watch TV?
Not as much as I would like to.
Yeah.
But like right now, my husband's down finishing the episode we were watching because we started the second episode because, it's a series, you get sucked in. And I was like, okay, I got to go, So I was like, keep on watching it. I'll catch up. And I hate that because it's like our thing. But I also don't get to read.
Yeah, no, me either.
I love to read, but one thing I do try to do, because I read small town romance to get my mind wrapped around to make sure I can stay with what my genre expects, and plus it's what I love to read. So I do, between every book, I do try to read 2 books between my next book. Like I just finished one during my editing process, waiting for the editor while I'm outlining my next book.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm officially, my role is retired. I had a job that I worked for over 40 years, and I left that job 4 years ago. And I had a vision of what retirement was going to look like. I was going to knit, and I was going to quilt, and I was going to scrapbook. And prior to 2020, because this was like a 5-year plan, our retirement plan, those were my things I thought I was going to do. And then I started writing, and it's like I still want to do those things.
Right.
But once in a while I knit, once in a while I scrapbook. Quilting is like, that's probably not going to. And I hear about people watching, Netflix series, and I have a list. I want to watch these series, and I never get to watch those. I like to watch baseball in the summer, but I can write while I'm watching baseball. because I like to have some noise in the background. So baseball is perfect. If something exciting happens, I can pause and look and watch the replay. But to watch a show, a series, I can't do that. So I am watching Survivor with my daughter. And we're an episode behind on that because I work on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so we have to watch a recorded version or a streamed version, whatever. And then I was gone over the weekend because I was at a book signing thing. So we still haven't watched that episode from last week yet. So yeah, I don't get to watch TV, and I have to force myself to read. And I don't like that because that's one of my favorite things to do.
I agree with you. And it's just that it's just hard because you and I are both still new at this author thing. I still see myself as new. I've only been published now for 2 years. I think you're about the same, maybe a little bit more. And, I'm not making money. So it's like, how much time in my brain, I'm like, I need to write because the numbers are there. You write books that are good, you will make money, but you got to write the books, You
need to have a catalog out there.
Yeah, exactly.
One book is, or even one book a year is not, until you have the name to go with it, it's not going to bring you in money. And that's my goal too.
Is hard enough. I mean, I started this wanting to do 3 or 4 books a year.
Right.
Found out really quickly that's not feasible with my job and my family and a life,
Right.
And that it's hard, but I think we both agree you have to stay focused on it and you have to have a plan. That's why I chose instead of saying hours, right now I have a date. My goal is to get this book finished and ready and on Amazon by the 8th.
Yeah.
And so there's my goal. And then once that's up, it's going to go back to 5,000 words a week. If I do 10,000, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But if I do 10,000 one week, that I don't get to say, oh, wait, I did 10,000. I get next week off. That's not how I do it.
No. Have you taken any extended time off? What you would consider time off from writing?
Not really. And I said, sort of, no. I was going to try to make it work, but no. In the summertime, my word count in the summertime is 20,000 words a week.
That's good.
Because my goal is to get a book totally finished, the first draft, and my revisions done. So in one summer, I can get a book ready to go to an editor.
Right.
That's it's about 8 weeks, a little bit less.
Yeah.
And so it's June and July. I'm focused intense, which I don't feel bad because everyone else is working.
True.
I work from 8 to 12, and I'm like, if I focus from 8 to 12, I can get my 4,000 to 5,000 words a day in, and then I have the rest of the afternoon to go out to my pool and read a book and drink my wine and do nothing.
There you go. Living the dream.
Right, for 3 hours. So during the school year, when I go from 20,000 words to 5,000 words, honestly, sometimes I feel like I'm taking time off because there's times I don't make that 5,000 words.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I took sometime this year, because I was releasing every 2 months this year. I had set my dates, and I didn't meet my September date, but I got the book out in September. It was just a little later than what I thought it was going to be, and the same for the November date. But so I just have had a lot going on. So I finished a book. I think I don't know if it was when I published it or if it was when I sent it off to editing. Said, you know what? I'm going to take a week and I'm not doing anything that is writing related for a week. And then I'm going to start my next book. So I think that was in June or July. And that week felt really good. Really, really good.
You did nothing for that week? Nothing.
I did nothing writing related. Nope. I probably did some TikTok videos, some promotion and that kind of thing, but I was not editing. I was not writing. I was not formatting. I don't even think, other than in my head, I was not writing down plot lines or.
But you were still writing, because doing anything that's marketing relating, is still writing.
Yeah. So, and then last summer, so the summer of 24, I had 2 books out, and that's where I got kind of lost. I didn't know where I was going. So I was plucking away at what would be my next book, but I had many, many, many days that I didn't do anything. And that was before I got involved with Small Fry Marketing and Emily, and we got a more focused approach.
Yeah, that is one thing I've noticed. It's been freeing knowing that I don't have to do my newsletters anymore. And Emily with Small Fry Marketing, she, does my newsletter. She focuses on my Facebook and Instagram pages. And she, asked me my opinion. Do you want this? Do what do you think about this? But like I said, for the most part, she does that. And I get off work at 3:00 and might glance at my phone real quick, because I haven't been on it all day, and notice that I've had Facebook posts. And I'm like, oh, look at that.
You are not doing those, girl?
Who knew?
Because I've been seeing those, and it's like, wow, I really like these posts that Donna is doing. I'm jealous. I have FOMO.
They're not me.
Oh,
they're not me. I'm not doing them.
That's funny.
Yeah,
that's hilarious, because I have noticed them. They're very good.
Well, so yeah, that's that, and I'm like, okay, and I just focus on my TikTok, and even though I try to do something every day with TikTok, I did not do it today.
I didn't do anything today.
So, but yet, I get off work today, and then I came home, and I walk in my door, grab my coffee, come up here, and I have my meeting with Emily by phone at 4:30 my time. Yeah. And so then we got off of that. Then I had to go eat dinner. I watched one TV show with my husband, and now we're back on here doing this. So that's been my book stuff today has been talking with Emily and planning our week and our goals, and now doing this, and that's book related, because it's having to do with my business. Tomorrow, I know I'm going to do one more pass through my book, through my 4th book, because I just finished the proofreading at revision. So I'm just going to do one more pass to make sure I like it, even though I'm not focusing too much on it, because how many times could you reread your manuscript and want to change it?
You know what? I think you could probably do it forever.
Forever.
Every time I look at it, right now, Emily and I are working on something, and I need to get some quotes from each book. Oh. And I know when I go through those books, I'm going to think, oh, I should have said it this way.
Yeah.
I should have used this word there instead of that word.
That's why you need someone like I have I have a Tanya. I'll be like, hey, I need you to look through this book, and what quote jumps out at you?
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
So find a friend who likes your books and is, but deathly honest. Because that saves time. It gives one less thing you have to worry about. And because I'm considering seeing if she can spend the next 4 days, if I send her the finished book, see if she can just read it and jot down her first thoughts, her last. If something is still not flowing right, I need to know now, because the last time she read my book was after my first set of revisions. before it went to the editors, and it did 2 rounds of edits and then 1 round of proofreading. So it's changed a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
here's the other thing that takes up a lot of my time is, and I wonder how it fits in for you. And even with Emily doing my newsletter and my website, is anything techie. I wondered how tech savvy you consider yourself, because I am not tech savvy at all. And that can take up, I might think I'm gonna have a 3-hour chunk to write, and then I'll fall down a rabbit hole of something I need to do, and I end up with half an hour.
right, all that time gone. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Our discussions with microphones.
Exactly.
Come on, No, I'm so not tech savvy. That's why the relief of having someone else do the social media aspect of it.
Yeah.
And I have to keep myself organized. Emily throws out all these things. Have you done this? Have you done that? Well, yeah, I did, but I wrote it somewhere. Where? In one of my journals. And I have like 5 sitting here, So tech savvy, no. Absolutely not.
I got ready to, so I do this upstairs in my bedroom, and I got everything set up tonight, and it's like, oh, where's my microphone? And I looked like 2 or 3 different places, and it's like, just put everything back in the same place every time.
Well, if you're like me, my little office is little, and it's also like my closet, my room that, has my closet, and it's where I pack my TikTok stuff. So it's another chaotic place.
Yeah. Do you, when you're home and you've got time that you're going to write or work on writing stuff, do you get interrupted? Because your kids are out of the house, right?
For the most part, yeah. My 26-year-old, he's living in the 5th wheel in the driveway.
Okay.
And my 22-year-old's home, but he's not home. He has a little apartment and he works most of the time. So he's home, but he's not home. My husband. But do I get interrupted like most? No, I do not. Okay. Except for social media posts. And then scrolling social media.
Yeah, that's a big time suck.
Googling some random thing on the internet and then getting lost on the internet rabbit hole.
Uh-huh.
So do other people bother me? No. Do I bother myself and interrupt myself? Yes. How about you?
I do kind of. And my husband, since I got more deeply into the writing, I would say this year in particular, he does everything around the house. He does the laundry. He washes the dishes. I cook, but he pretty much does everything. So I might be in, right now I sit out on our porch, which is sadly coming to an end because it's getting a little chilly. I have a little electric heater out there, but he does something and then he comes out and sits and talks to me for a little while. And my daughter, same thing. She'll come out and sit and talk to me. And so I do get interrupted. Sometimes I will take my laptop to work and I will think, there's 3 check-ins tonight. I'm not going to be busy. And I'm going to have like 3 hours where I can, and granted the phone will ring. I might have to do reservations, but it's not a big deal. There's a gentleman that works at the mountain that we've gotten friendly with, and he comes in and he'll stand and chat with me for an hour, when it's a slow night. It's like, and I love talking to him, but so I do get interrupted. And it's funny because my husband read an interview with John Grisham, And John Grisham said that he, gets up, has his breakfast, does whatever, his morning routine, goes in his office, shuts the door, and doesn't come out until he has written, and I don't remember if it was a certain word count or if it was 3 hours. And I'm like, and so my husband was kind of like, "So you need to do." And I'm like, "Okay." So I shut the door. And, so it's like, hey, I'm being John Grisham.
Well, I heard something somewhere about people who said that, the same issue where, they close their door, but people still come and knock or bother them. So they got the whole sock on the doorknob thing, don't come in here. They have a little do not disturb sign from a hotel that they took. Yeah. And they hang it on the doorknob. And when they're writing, people know, their family knows, do not knock when you see this do not disturb sign.
Right. Because I have a couple of door hangers that I picked up last year at a writing conference, and I've tried it.
Doesn't work.
It still doesn't.
Well, I said, my husband works out of the house now. So this summer it was a work in progress because he's working out of the house but he's on the phone most of the day, but he walks around while he talks on the phone or if they're in a Teams meeting, he carries his phone around because he can't sit still. And so as he's walking around, he piddles and he just does little things throughout the house. Well, I'm up here in my room, and my goal is to write 1,000 words an hour and then take a 30-minute break. Okay? It's like a writing sprint. And on my 30-minute break, I'll be piddling around. But if we are piddling around the same time in the same place, and all of a sudden that 30 minutes is disappears and it's an hour, I'm like, okay, this isn't working. When it was just me in the house, I could take my little break and then go back. And it was focused, intense. So this summer was a little harder. But I try that. I try to, I'll set the timer and then I'll just write. And then I'll set a timer of a break. And then I'll do it again. And I keep doing that. My goal is within 4 times of doing that, I should be done.
Yep.
For the day.
And see, that's kind of my thing, is that I will sit there and think, okay, here I am. I'm not getting up till I write 2,000 words. And I might sit there all day before I write 2,000 words because I get distracted.
Put on a timer. Is that way you're focused?
Yeah. I get distracted. I scroll on my phone or, I just very distractible.
Well, I wish I could be because, I have a journal at my desk at school to jot down thoughts if they come to me during school. Like tomorrow we're having a benchmark test. So I'm going to be sitting and watching kids do state testing all day. So I'll be jotting down because I'm sure something will come to me.
Yeah.
And someday my goal is to have an iPad with a keyboard. That way I'll feel like I can take it with me more places.
Oh, the first 10 months that we were retired, when neither one of us was working at all. And I was writing at that point, and I was writing in Google Docs. And we did a couple of cross-country trips. We did one trip that was all the way to the Pacific Ocean, and then we did another one to Colorado, and we went to Florida. So we traveled a lot.
Wow. Yeah.
And I wrote on my phone and on my iPad in the car, in Google Docs. It works out really well. I've switched. More recently, I'm using Word. So I thought maybe I should go back to Google Docs, but we haven't done those road trips lately. So,
well, it's funny you said, because I started out in Word, but it's easier to download Google Docs on my phone, and I dictate to it in the car because I have a 30-minute drive to work and home every day. So I dictate into Google Docs in my phone. That way, at least if I can't get to writing, when I do get to it, I have a good 700, $800 or words dictated
Yeah.
between my ride home and back. So that's
Yeah.
something else I do when I don't have time to write.
Right.
So
I have not tried the
it's hard because if you don't say period, there won't be a period. If you don't say new paragraph, you're going to have one big long paragraph.
Okay.
And then you get home and you're like, and if you don't speak clearly and slow, it makes up words. So you get home, you figure after an 8-hour workday, I get home to edit it and I have no clue what it says.
And you have no idea what you're wrong.
No clue. And it's like, what the heck was I saying here? But it helps me to get words done. Or if I'm going for a walk, I can dictate in my phone.
Oh, okay.
So it's useful if you can make it work. And I know there's a whole lot more, but that will be a whole nother.
That kind of thing is another topic.
But that's a way to save time when you don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
Do it in the car or on a walk or on your bike.
Yeah. So earlier you had a question about, what's your smallest increment of time to feel productive. Was that your word you used?
Yes.
Yeah. And I like that. And I think I'm trying to force myself to, for example, we went and worked out this morning. And when we got back, we had the dishes from last night. And my husband said, I've got to do the dishes. And we were going we were going to go shopping out of town. So while he did the dishes, I opened my laptop and I wrote, and like 500 words done.
Mm-hmm.
And because I knew what I wanted to write. So I'm now trying to force myself when I've got 10 or 15 or 20 minutes to actually open the laptop and get something done. It used to be that it had to be like a 1 or 2 hour time.
Well, even 15 minutes at a time, if you can do 250 words in a 15-minute time period, and you do that 3 times a day, that's 750 words.
Yeah.
You do that 5 times a week. I don't do math. I teach English, so I don't know how much that is, but it's a whole lot more than if you wouldn't do any. What is 750 times 5? Hold on. I'm doing math right now. That's 3,750 words. So here we go. My goal is 5,000 words a week. If I'm almost there. So I can say on a Saturday, you know what? I'm 1,250 words away. I can do that in an hour. So take an hour out of my Saturday or 2 30-minute sessions out of a Saturday.
Right. And I need to learn to do that because I think my quality of life will be better if I get the writing done. And I'm getting better at it, get the writing done and then put it away and, go do something else. And then if 8 o'clock at night comes and there's nothing else going on, I want to open my laptop again, which I quite often write at night, rather than in the morning. So if I want to do that, I can, and then that's a bonus.
Right, and that's part of it. Though, is sometimes I think as writers and authors, we think if we can't sit down and spend 3 hours a day at one time writing, it doesn't count because this is our job and we should be sitting down focused like other people who go to work. But if we're looking at it as a word count, and like my books are about 75,000 words. I know yours are shorter. If I do 5,000 words a week, okay, I'm doing more math and now my head's really hurting me. That is, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how long would it take me to do a 70,000 word book. But with that said, my books are usually like 60,000 words for the first draft. And then after the first draft, they go up in word count.
So that's hang on.
3 months? It would take me about 3 months to do a 60,000 word book.
Yeah, 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Yep, 3 months.
Okay.
Yep.
See, so like basically my goal is to have my next book, the first draft, written by the end of January. So you figure November, December, January. Starting in November, when book 4 is going to be up on Amazon. Starting in November, when book 4 is on Amazon, and I can start getting my author stuff and getting that going. November, December, January. That's 3 months to write the next book. And by what we just talked about, 5,000 words a week, I should be able to do that and then spend February revising it. And it should be able to get to an editor by March.
Right. The other thing that I do is I set 2 lofty goals for myself. Like, I'm going to write 2,000 words a day, and that's going to be 60,000 words in a month. And that's, and there's no reason that I can't do that. And there isn't. I do have some days that it really is. I do have other stuff going on, but
right, absolutely.
But I set that goal, and then I fall short of it. But
you know what? That's okay. And sometimes I think, you need to have an accountability partner.
Yeah.
And that's what you and I need to be for each other. Because
Right.
if I say I'm doing that, then that means, with my book 5, I should have book 5 out and ready to print by June, which is summer. And then I hit June and July, where I write and revise my first draft. I write a book in June, revise it in July, and just like I did this one, send it off to my editor by August when school starts. And then I spend the beginning of the school year revising, editing, proofreading, and getting it out by November. See, so there's my 2 books a year.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got 5 on my calendar for next year. One of them is half written. 2 of them are pretty well written in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
There's one that's pretty well written in my mind, and then there's one that I have no idea where it's going. That's the November book. That's a long ways down the road.
That's a year away. So yeah. I think what we've talked about, how to find time writing when writing isn't the only thing we're doing, is we need to make goals, doable goals.
Doable goals. Yep.
Doable goals. I mean, I know for a fact I cannot do a 20,000 word goal, which is my summer work, weekly word goal, when I'm working. So what can I do? 5,000 words a week is less than 1,000 words a day.
Yeah.
Because that's a weekend. So I know I can do that. And so I know by the end of November, I want 20,000 words written in my book 5. And I'm saying that on here for everybody and for you. And when in the summertime, and here's something maybe we should do in the summertime, and I have it over there, but I have a desk calendar, and every day I write, I have the day before, I have how many words I wrote and how many words I'm at. So let's say November 1st, I would have a 0. I would have a 0 at the top of the page. When I'm done for the day, I would put, say, 510 words. Let's say I did 510 words on November 1st. That's down the bottom. The little square, that's down here. So then on the 2nd, I know I had 500 words. If my goal is to do 500 more or whatever, I write for an hour. I know, okay, I did 1,000. So now that's 1,500 words. And so every day I have on a block how many words I wrote and how many I have. And if I don't write, I just draw an arrow.
So do you do a like a daily and then a cumulative as well?
Huh?
So like I did 1,000 and now I'm at 1,500.
Yeah. It looks like I'm not an artist, okay? No one laugh at me. But like if this is a 5-day-a-week calendar. Okay, this is a 5-day-a-week calendar.
Yep.
Let's just say this is November 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So we have all these numbers on this calendar. I would start with 0 here and I finish up with 475. And then here I did 200. So I'm going to show you really quick. This day I had a good day. I did 500. So that's 1,175. So like,
Yeah, I like that.
on day 1, I started at 0, but I did 475 words.
Right.
And then on day 2, I did 200. So I added this and this to equal this.
Okay.
And then on day 3, I did 500. So I added this and this to get this. And so, and if I did 0 on this day, well,
Okay.
Yeah,
I like that. I will try to do that for November. Let's see where we end up.
Yeah, and this is also if you have accountability partner, and let's say you had a week where my goal is 5,000 words a week, and I did this because 2 days in a row I did nothing. The accountability partner needs to be like, Donna, what did you do? Why did you do nothing? I mean, 15 minutes, you can't do 250 words in a day?
Yeah. I like that.
But now what happens if my word count is 5,000 words in a week, but I only make 3,000? Do I get mad at myself and quit? Or do I start over on Monday?
Start over on Monday.
Start over on Monday.
Yep. Just like exercise, just like diet.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
I think that's a great idea. Ways you can get words in even when life happens or you work.
Yep.
Or family doesn't understand. I'm busy.
I don't know how you do it with a full-time teaching job. I just do not know how you do it.
Well, I want to retire, so I have no choice.
Okay.
I want to be done at some point. But, people ask that a lot, and I think it's my way to be sane.
Yeah.
Because teaching is hard. Kids don't want to write anymore. So if they hear their English teacher is a published author, they get really impressed.
I would have thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
When I was in high school.
Yeah. Me too. So they're like, you write books? No, they'll say, you wrote a book? No, I wrote 7.
Yeah.
You wrote 7 books? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great way to show them what's possible.
There you go. And I did it as an adult, not when I was young. But okay, I think this was a good conversation.
I think it was. So we'll get together again next week and see what we can.
Okay, hold on. We're going to do something even more. Okay.
What are we?
So next week when we talk, we can start out with what our goals are.
Okay.
And maybe we can talk about, maybe it's goal setting next week.
Okay. All right.
Which would go with this one. And like my goal this week is to do one final pass for my book and get it ready to start formatting. Because I need it to be done by November 8th. What's your goal this week?
So my goal for this week is to get this book to the editor on Wednesday. I have about 1,200 words in a chapter that I want to finish. Mm-hmm. And then the book will be done. I want to run it through Pro Writing Aid to see what I've got for repetitive words. I'm hoping there aren't too many.
Right.
That's going to be what I'm going to do tomorrow. And then I will be plotting, working on plotting and stuff for my next book. And I'm going to start that on Saturday. So,
Very good. Always remember that there's always, if you have 15 minutes a day, I think we can find time to write or do something writing related.
Yep.
You know,
I need that reminder.
Yeah, me too. Don't worry. All right.
Okay.
Have a great night, Sue.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Thanks.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Indie Authors Uncovered, brought to you by Small Fry Marketing, your single source for affordable marketing solutions. Visit us at smallfrymarketing.com.